It's been 5 years since Meghan Markle strutted out of those palace gates, tossing aside the royal rules like yesterday's news. Freedom, independence, her own voice. At least that's what she promised. She had the stage, the global spotlight, the sympathy of millions who believed she was going to shake up the monarchy like Diana once did. But here's the tea. What did she actually do? Nothing groundbreaking, no bold speeches, no fearless campaigns, just silence and the occasional photo op in an apron. And this is where the drama starts. Because when Meghan first burst into the royal scene, she wasn't just another actress marrying into the firm. Oh no, she was marketed as the second coming of Diana, the new people's princess. Headlines screamed it, tabloids framed it, and her PR machine ran with it. From the wardrobe to the carefully timed charity snaps, Meghan was designed to mirror Princess Diana. But here's the catch. While Diana's legacy was real, Meghan's was... well, let's just say it was a Hollywood production. Behind the velvet curtains, Prince William wasn't having it. The future King of England, fiercely protective of his mother's memory, drew a hard line. Meghan would never get her hands on Diana's jewelry. Not the rings, not the necklaces, and definitely not the iconic Cartier gold watch. Why? Because to William, Meghan hadn't earned it. She wasn't royal in duty or in spirit. Now let's talk about that watch, the one that caused absolute chaos. For months, glossy magazines splashed Meghan across covers, swearing she was wearing Diana's beloved timepiece. Heartwarming, right? Except it wasn't real. The watch was fake, a cheap imitation. And when the truth slipped out, boom, William made his move. Quiet but deadly. Palace sources confirm he ordered magazines to retract their fairy tale stories. Small corrections, hidden lines, but the damage was done. Meghan's illusion had been exposed. Imagine the fallout. Meghan was furious. Reports say she tried every card in the deck. The racism narrative, the misunderstood outsider sob story, the evil press angle. But William didn't flinch. He'd seen through her act from day one. While Harry spiraled deeper into Meghan's whirlwind, William stood tall, guarding his mother's memory with a backbone rarely seen in royal history. And here's where it stings. The issue wasn't just about jewelry, it was about what that jewelry meant. Diana's watch wasn't just a piece of gold. It was a memory, a legacy, a symbol of compassion, courage, and quiet strength. And watching Meghan parade a knockoff like it was a sacred relic, that was a slap in the face, not just to William, but to anyone who truly loved Diana. But Meghan, she didn't stop. The mimicry went way beyond the watch. From hairstyles to outfits to even the way she walked into public events, Meghan seemed determined not to honor Diana, but to be Diana. And that's where admiration morphed into obsession. Royal watchers picked up on it. Palace insiders whispered about it. The eerie copycat patterns were no longer subtle. Meghan didn't want to carry Diana's torch. She wanted to wear Diana's crown. Meanwhile, Catherine, the real future queen, kept her cool. No theatrics, no grand speeches on Instagram, no victimhood narratives, just quiet dignity. She did the work, charities, hospitals, community visits, and in doing so, she earned the right to wear Diana's jewelry. Not as props, not as costumes, but as symbols of trust and responsibility. That's the difference. That's why Kate was embraced while Meghan was rejected. And let's not forget the infamous Netflix pottery scene. Meghan, sleeves rolled up, pretending to play the everywoman while subtly showing off what she implied was Diana's watch. The camera angles? Oh, perfectly staged to catch the gleam. The headlines the next morning? Meghan honors Diana. But palace insiders were seething. Because once again, it wasn't real. It was a fake. A stunt, a performance. That's when William's patience snapped. William had always been the quieter brother, the one who kept his head down, the one who knew the value of silence in a world where every word echoed for decades. But when it came to his mother's memory, that silence ended. Insiders say he personally made sure that every glossy headline about Meghan wearing Diana's watch was corrected. The retractions were quiet, yes, buried in the fine print, but make no mistake, they were deliberate. It was William's way of drawing a line in the sand. You do not use my mother's legacy as a prop? And Meghan, she never addressed it, not once. She let the false headlines swirl for months. That's her game. She plants the image, lets the speculation grow, then pretends innocence when the truth cracks through. Silence in her world isn't ignorance, it's strategy. Because while she stayed quiet, the press built castles on sand, and William had to knock them down, brick by brick. This wasn't just about a watch anymore. This was about who controlled Diana's story. William saw it as sacred. Meghan saw it as aesthetic. One man's grief was another woman's brand. And for the palace, that crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. The palace insiders whispered about something deeper. Meghan wasn't content with tributes. She wanted ownership. The way she copied Diana's outfits, the way she styled her hair, even down to the way she held Harry's hand during engagements. It was eerie. To the public, it looked like flattery. To the family, it looked like exploitation. And while Meghan built her illusion, Catherine quietly built her reputation. That's the contrast that shook the public. Kate didn't just wear Diana's jewelry, she carried Diana's values. Every time she stepped out, whether it was a hospital visit or a charity event, it felt genuine, not staged. That's why when William placed Diana's sapphire ring on Kate's finger, it wasn't just romantic, it was symbolic. She had earned it. Now let's rewind to the jewelry ban itself, because that was the real turning point. Insiders confirmed that William kept Diana's collection under lock and key, not out of greed but out of protection. He knew the emotional weight they carried. When Harry and Meghan pushed to divide Diana's treasures after their wedding, it wasn't some sentimental family gathering. It was tense. It was a negotiation, and William had the upper hand. He was the elder son, the heir, the keeper of Diana's memory, and Meghan, whether she liked it or not, wasn't going to play dress-up with it. The whispers get juicier here. Sources claim Meghan was livid when she realized she'd been cut off from the collection. She reportedly threw tantrums, accusing William of unfairness, even hinting that racism was behind the decision. But William didn't bite. He knew the playbook and he wasn't falling for emotional manipulation. He didn't flinch, not once. So Meghan adapted. She staged her own version of Diana's legacy. Fake jewelry, staged camera angles, imitation outfits. And for a while, it worked. The media, always hungry for symbolism, fell for it. But William was watching, and when he struck with precision. Those quiet corrections in the press, that was his way of saying, not on my watch. But here's where the gossip takes a darker turn. Because Meghan's obsession with Diana wasn't just about jewelry, it was about identity. She didn't just want to honor Diana. She wanted to be Diana. And that's what made it so chilling for those inside the palace. Meanwhile, Harry, oh Harry, once the prince who fiercely guarded Diana's name, now stood silent. Insiders whisper that his silence was the saddest part of it all. Whether it was love, loyalty, or blindness, Harry seemed unwilling or unable to confront what Meghan was doing. To William, that was a betrayal all its own. Because make no mistake, this wasn't just sibling rivalry, this was a war over legacy, a war over who Diana's memory belonged to. And William wasn't going to let Meghan rewrite history. Not with fake jewelry, not with staged tributes, and not with a PR machine built on illusions. The quiet correction in the glossy magazines might have looked small to outsiders, just a single line tucked in the back pages. But for those who understood royal language, it was a thunderclap. William wasn't only protecting jewelry, he was protecting the last tangible fragments of his mother's soul. And Meghan, well, she'd tried to slip through that sacred boundary with a knockoff strapped to her wrist. The symbolism was brutal. Diana's watch wasn't a fashion statement, it was a gift from her father before the world knew her as the princess who stole hearts. To William, it carried decades of tears, memories, and the weight of a mother lost too soon. So when Meghan paraded a fake like it was the real thing, insiders say it felt like she was mocking more than honoring. A performance, not a tribute. And if imitation is supposed to be the sincerest form of flattery, Meghan's flattery fell flat, hollow, manufactured, and desperate. William saw through it instantly. To him, it wasn't flattery at all. It was exploitation. Meanwhile, Catherine moved gracefully in the background, the silent foil to Meghan's theatrics. She wore Diana's jewels not for headlines, but because she'd earned the trust that came with them. There was no pretending, no staged photo ops. Her devotion to duty and quiet strength spoke for itself. That's why William opened the jewelry box to her, because she understood that the jewels weren't adornments, they were responsibilities. And this is where Meghan's obsession became dangerous. The mimicry wasn't just about rings or watches anymore. It seeped into everything. Her hairstyle choices, the tilt of her head, the hand-holding at engagements. Royal watchers started noticing eerie parallels. Meghan wasn't trying to walk in Diana's footsteps. She was trying to wear her skin. The Netflix pottery scene proved it. Remember that bizarre clip? Meghan shaping clay like she was auditioning for a daytime talk show, sleeves rolled up, pretending to be the humble everywoman. But the camera angles, oh, they told the real story. Perfectly framed shots of that gold watch on her wrist, timed to glisten at just the right moments. Headlines screamed, "Meghan honors Diana." But when palace aides confirmed the watch was fake, the illusion shattered. How many times had she pulled the same stunt before? How many imitation pieces had been passed off as Diana's? That was the breaking point. William's patience evaporated. Enough was enough. The fallout inside palace walls was icy. Meghan's silence after the revelation wasn't accidental, it was calculated. She never corrects the record. She lets the image linger, the speculation swirl, because she knows headlines have more staying power than footnote corrections. It's smoke and mirrors, Hollywood's sleight of hand. But this time, William was determined to expose the trick. And when a future king sends a message, even a quiet one, the echoes last. What once looked like a petty fight over trinkets was now a full-blown battle over identity. Who had the right to embody Diana's legacy? The woman who lived it, raised her sons, and left behind her treasures? Or the actress who married in and tried to turn that legacy into a brand? For William, the answer was obvious. Diana's memory was sacred. For Meghan, it was aesthetic. And when you treat something sacred like a costume, there are consequences.